Michael Chandler's got a shot, okay? I get it. I saw a video where he was like, I've been training differently for Conor McGregor. I've realized I've made mistakes in the past, but now that Conor McGregor's pulled out, Charles Oliveira will face the blunt of my new force and my new approach to the game. I get it, right? I almost picked him, actually, but then I was thinking, like, come on. It's the Bronx, right? This is the Bronx we're talking about here. It's the Bronx, you know? Charles Oliveira's already beaten him in the past when Michael Chandler wasn't 39 years old. He was younger, more explosive, honestly. Probably had a bit more, was making more drastic changes to his game that would actually lead to improvements. Because right now, you gotta think about this, right? Even if Chandler is improving, at the end of it all, muscle memory will kick in. He'll get hit in the face and he'll say, you know what? Let's screw it. Let's swang and bang, baby. And then he'll get hit in the chin, and his career will probably, sadly, end, because there's just a different vibe to Chandler. It's just one of those things, right? Like, all respect to Michael Chandler, I understand. He's putting everything on the line here. The Conor McGregor fight that he waited for so long might never ever happen if he takes the L here, and it probably won't happen. Charles Oliveira might get the fight instead. It's sad, but it's also really funny. It's probably the end of Chandler and his aspirations to being anything in the sport now. I mean, he's already a big name, but if he loses to Oliveira, the Conor McGregor fight's gone. They're going to give it to Gaethje or they're going to give it to Oliveira. More likely than not. That fight doesn't make any sense. What does Conor McGregor achieve from beating a guy that everybody's beaten in the top 5, it feels like at this point? What's next after that? Gamrot? Honestly, is that what's next? A rematch with Hooker? Like, this is a massively lower tier fights for him. But yeah, look, listen, Charles Oliveira beat him, and you're going to tell me that Michael Chandler came into a title fight thinking, you know what, I'm going to lose this fight on purpose. No, the muscle memories will kick in this fight. You know, like, he'll get hit. Boom, 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 all Michael Chandler, there he is, shooting a double leg. Here comes Charles Oliveira, guillotine choke, threaten it, probably won't get it, but that's what's going to happen. And also, 39 years old, the gas tank with Chandler's always been questionable. Charles the Bronx went 3 rounds with Ahmed Sarukian in a real high-paced fight. So I'm trusting the Bronx here a bit more. And also, the Bronx has gone, like, you know, 3 rounds multiple times in his career. It's just not like, honestly, Charles Oliveira is better everywhere. Like, think about this, right? Charles Oliveira, who's got the better striking? I understand Michael Chandler might have more power, but does he even have more power? Like, Oliveira was finishing everybody. Like, Justin Gaethje has fought Michael Chandler, and he said Charles Oliveira hits the hardest of any person that's ever made it a punch on his face. You know? Of every single person, Justin Gaethje, the punch-drunk fella, has fought, Charles Oliveira hits the hardest. And he fought Michael Chandler, and afterwards he said Michael Chandler was a boring fight. Like, there was no, like, he didn't smell that, you know, he didn't feel like a wounded animal. He didn't smell that hunger inside of Michael Chandler that was just thirsting for blood, like a prey, like a predator's hunting its prey down. He's like, oh, well, you know, I didn't feel I was in too much danger. I was just like swinging, I was, you know, jab, and then Michael Chandler throws the fight in the 3rd round. But Charles Oliveira, like, he's still hungry, I feel like. He wants to get back to the title. The Bronx, the mentality, the Mamba mentality from the Bronx, the Bronx mentality. I feel like it's still there. I feel like he still thinks he can get to the title. I know Chandler does as well, but listen, dude, he's 39 years old. If there's anything the sport has taught us, it's the older a fighter gets, don't trust his words, because every time they fight, they're going to say, this is the best version of myself, even though clearly you can see they're just lying. And then the newer fans will see that the fighter is saying this is the best version of themselves, and then just be like, oh, you know what, he beat him while he said he was the best version of himself. That's not happening. Michael Chandler can say whatever he wants. He's not the best version of himself. He's 39 years old, coming off a layoff. Any improvements he makes, right? Here's the thing. He gets better in this area. He drastically is getting worse in another area, which is, what is that area? Probably cardio, if anything else. But also, not just cardio, athleticism, your explosiveness. That stuff is probably not the same as it was when he was 28, 29 instead of 38, 39. You know? Like, it's not the same thing anymore. Michael Chandler is an older man. Charles has turned 35, but he looked amazing against Ahmed Sarukian. Has looked amazing against Dariush. Didn't look the best against Islam, but, you know, Poirier, Gaethje, you name it, he's looked good. I think Charles Oliveira ends Michael Chandler. And it's going to be sad, and I want to see what Michael Chandler has to say. But in a chaotic world filled with chaos, an omnipotent presence that will guide Michael Chandler to a victory. It's more fun if Chandler wins. Imagine if he beats Charles Oliveira and he goes on the mic and he says, I want you, Conor McGregor, I want you, Islam, I want you, Armin, and does that thing again. It's like, whoa, what's happening now? Is Chandler actually championship ready? Like, he's wrestling. He could even stuff the takedowns of Islam. I mean, Justin Poirier could do it. Why can't Chandler? Is his cardio really this high level? And keep in mind, this is a 5-round fight. I almost forgot to mention it. 5 rounds if Charles doesn't find the chin of Chandler. And if Chandler doesn't finish Charles in the first 2 rounds, it's more than likely Charles will put it on him, finish him in the later rounds. But I don't think this fight goes into the championship round. I think this is a round 2 finish from Charles "The Bronx" Oliveira. I think he might submit him, to be honest. Because Chandler was training for a striker all this time. He's training his wrestling, his grappling. I gotta remember, for almost 2 years, Chandler was training for a striker, or a year and a half, or whatever. Charles Oliveira can strike, obviously. Very different, though. Down the middle strikes. Boom, boom, left, right. Can catch you easily. Will use some push kicks to get Chandler away from him. I think Oliveira's gonna mess up Chandler badly as well. I think Chandler's gonna look good in the first or the second round. He'll come out explosive, come out with the energy. But in the later rounds, man, it's gonna be sad. And his kids are gonna be in the crowd, and his wife is gonna be there. And they watched him stay at home, be a stay-at-home dad, change their nappies on a daily basis, only to eventually leave and then come back home and then change their nappies a bit more, because apparently Conor McGregor wasn't taking the fight, but now he's going to go and come back, and that's going to be the biggest nappy of them all, because Michael Chandler is going to shit himself, honestly. But yeah, I think Oliveira destroys him badly. Like, I don't know how else to say it. Like, the striking's better for Oliveira, right? The jiu-jitsu better for Oliveira, right? Okay, 2 for 2 so far. The power, I feel like Charles Oliveira might even have more power than him. So that's another thing we've got to give to Oliveira. Physical advantages. Longer, Charles Oliveira. Stronger, Michael Chandler. Okay, I'll give him that. More explosive. You know what? Chandler's more explosive in my opinion. But for how long though? What's the duration of his explosiveness? I'm sure before it was like maybe 2 minutes at a time. Now it's probably like 70 seconds, you know? What else does Oliveira have over him? Wrestling? Oh, you know what? Chandler, you know what? The more I'm saying, I'm like, you know, if you have like just $10 laying around, just put it on Chandler. Honestly, there's a good chance Chandler could win this fight. It's a weird one because Charles Oliveira does get hit a lot. Like, he gets dropped, and it feels like if someone was courageous enough to follow after him like Islam did, they could get him. But in his last few fights, Charles Oliveira hasn't been dropped. Dariush couldn't do it. Armin couldn't do it. Islam did it, but you know, that's different. That's Islam. I don't think Chandler's gonna have a good time, and it just feels so bad. And I'm just gonna show you what I got money on. I've got a multi on, and I feel the least confident in this one, but still fairly confident. Like, they've fought in the past. He won that fight. Is this the end of Chandler? It's one of the saddest stories in MMA history, right? Like, years from now, I watch MMA Point make a video. Top 10 biggest fumbles of the bag. Top 10 career enders. Top 10 moments where a fighter just knew they just didn't have it in them anymore. Top 10 spirits being broken. Top 10 funniest downfalls of all time. And it's just going to be Michael Chandler. And I feel like no one's talking about this fight because it's a huge fight in my opinion. Like a title eliminator almost. A title eliminator and just a fun fight in the division, I feel like. You know, like, it's just so much story coming into this. Chandler has given up everything he's worked for to take on the fight with Charles Oliveira. 2 years of work down the drain. If he loses, that's 2 years of his career he can't get back. He's 39. He wasted the majority of his prime. But even then, he was getting older. He was losing to the top guys in the division. If he loses to Oliveira, what's next? Like, Fiziev? Would you pick Fiziev? I'm sorry, Chandler to beat Fiziev? I wouldn't. Tough. Charles Oliveira will get this done at UFC 309. He will end Michael Chandler. And that's just going to be the name of the video. Because I think he will end him. Interpret it however you like it. But he will end Michael Chandler. Like, share, and subscribe. Get me to 100 subscribers already. Like, I'm still waiting. And why is YouTube not promoting me? Well, what's wrong with my content? It's literally more fun than MMA Joey's content ever has been. So, come on. Subscribe and leave a like. I'll see you next time.